Hello everyone. Well, in our previous video, we discussed that how you can validate the content of the response. Now in this video, we are going to discuss how you can validate the nested JSON object which is coming in the response. So this is our JSON output. And if you observe this output closely, this is one JSON object and this is another JSON object which is a nested. So this I can call as one JSON object. And this is the another one which is the nested one. So nested JSON object. So in this video, we are going to discuss that how you can validate the nested JSON object. As we have already discussed that if you want to validate the field which is coming inside the JSON object, just like brand name, ID and laptop name, you can directly use the method such as content string, equal, ignoring case and so on. Now sometimes you can receive the output in this format also, where you have a label for your JSON object. Like this. So the difference between this output and this output is, for this particular JSON object, there is no field, there is no label. But in the second case, for the JSON object, there is a label. Okay. Now in this case, the validation approach will change. So in our previous case, if I want to validate a field, I just write brand name, comma, comma, and its validation method. Similarly, if I want to validate the ID, I can write directly like ID, comma, the validation method. But when you have a label with your JSON object, the approach will change. In case of label, you need to specify the complete path to the field. That means if I want to validate any field in this format, then I need to specify the complete path. And the complete path will be label name along with the field name. So that is here, if I want to validate the brand name, I need to construct the entire path, and that will be label dot brand name and then its validation method, like this. Similarly for ID, so label dot ID and its validation method. And in the similar manner, label dot laptop name and its validation method. So you need to specify the attribute here in your body method in this manner when you have a label with your JSON object. And label can be anything. Let's say my object. So here the label will be replaced by my object. Now let us suppose inside this object you have a nested object. That means for laptop name you have one more JSON object embedded. So this will be name and test. So now in this case, if I want to validate the name field, then I need to write like this, because I need to construct the entire part to this field. So my object dot laptop name dot name in this manner, and after that validation. Okay. So this is the way you need to specify the attribute name inside the body method when you are doing the validation for the JSON output, which is in this format. So now let's start validating the nested JSON object. So inside the body, let me comment out this part. Here I will use body. So the features, and here I will specify contain string method. Let's say with the 8 GB RAM. I'm going to put a breakpoint over here and run this script in a debug mode. So as you can see here, our test content method got failed. Okay, and it's giving us the assertion error. So let me try the different method, that is equal to ignoring case. And let me run it again. So as you can see here, again the test content method got failed, and again it is giving us the assertion error. So whenever you are dealing with a list, as you can see here, we have a nested JSON object, and the JSON object which is coming is in the form of a list. So whenever you are dealing with the list, you cannot use the method such as contain string equal to ignoring cases. So we have a different method whenever you want to validate the list. So again, I will open my matcher class and search for has item. So in order to validate the content which is present inside the list, we will use the method name method as has item. So here, instead of this, I will use has item. And inside this method, I'm going to supply the content which is coming in the list. So which is 8 GB RAM. And let me run this script again. So as you can see here, again our method got failed. And the reason why this method is getting failed now is because if you look at the output closely, we have a nested JSON object. Okay, like this. So in order to access this particular list, I need to construct the path in the similar manner which we discussed here. So the path to this particular list will be features. As we don't have any label with this object, so I can directly use features dot feature like this. Okay. So instead of specifying the attribute name only features, I need to specify the entire path. So let us run in debug mode. So now as you can see here, our method is getting passed. Okay. Let's say I just change this part and rerun it. So this time our method will fail. So as you can see here, our method is getting fail, and it clearly gives the assertion error saying that it is expecting the 8 GB 1 RAM in the collection. Now let's say I want to validate the multiple items, whether the multiple items are coming in the list or not. So there is one more method for that, which is has items. And here I need to supply the item. So which is 1 TB of hard drive. So using the method has items, you can validate whether the list are containing multiple items or not. So as you can see here, our method is getting passed. Let's say I add one additional item which is not present in the actual output. So this time our method will fail because we are expecting a list of 3 items, but actually it is coming a list of 2 items. So as you can see here, it failed. It is expecting a collection of 3 items, but actually is a list of only 2 items. So it is getting passed now. In the similar manner, you can validate the size of the list also. So inside the matcher class, if I look for has item, So these two methods are used to validate the content which is coming inside the list, and there is a method called has size. So this method is used to validate the size of the list. So here I can directly use like this, has size. So let's say 3. So it is getting failed, and it clearly says that it is expecting a collection of size 3, although we are getting the collection of size 2. And this time our test method will get pass. Okay, I forgot to save it. So as you can see here, the test method is getting passed. So these are the method which you need to use while validating the list in the response. That is has item, has items, has size. So that's all for this video, and thanks for watching.